is they're worried about the future of their jobs. The younger workers, is there going to be auto working jobs in this country after this administration finishes forcing the auto industry into an electric vehicle production that is made predominantly overseas? I'm sure you know where most electric vehicles are made in the world.
It is an enormous priority for the administration. Part of the reason why the president himself joined auto workers in the strike to
where are 54% of electric vehicles made globally?
The entire point of
where are 54% of electric vehicles made globally?
The whole point is.
No, I'm asking you a question. Where are 54% of electric vehicles made globally?
I don't.
You don't know?
I don't know about that number. I know that
the answer is China. Where is the critical? Wait, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Where is 73% of cobalt refining? Where does it take place globally?
Overseas.
Where specifically?
Probably China.
Yeah, China. Where is most cobalt mining performed? Who owns most of the cobalt mines in the world?
Probably most of that sourcing is in Africa.
China has the majority. 77% of electric vehicle cathodes are made in China. 92% of anodes are made in China. 66% of battery cells are assembled in China. The New York Times recently did a report on this. The New York Times, not a notably right-wing publication.
Welcome back to the channel where I break down the most pressing issues in politics today. Have you ever wondered what happens when big government policies clash with American jobs? Well, stick around because Senator Josh Hawley just unleashed a fiery interrogation on a Biden administration appointee. He tackled everything from auto worker strikes to the chilling truth about child labor and foreign supply chains. Across the nation, thousands of auto workers are striking, and it's a big deal. Senator Hawley just returned from Missouri, where 4,000 workers are walking the picket line. Their message? They're terrified for their futures, especially as the push for electric vehicles grows. But here's the kicker: most EV production doesn't even happen in America. It's dominated by China. Yeah, the same country that controls a massive chunk of critical materials like cobalt and lithium. During the hearing, Senator Hawley came out swinging. He demanded answers about why the administration seems more focused on shutting down U.S. mining operations than ensuring Americans have good-paying jobs.
China, their conclusion, the only winner so far is China. My question is, why would we want to make our auto industry dependent on supply chains in China? Why is that a good idea?
We don't.
Then why are you doing it?
The entire point of this conversation, the entire point of this hearing, is to domesticate and make more reliable the sourcing of the materials to support.
Then why are you shutting down critical mining in the United States?
We're not.
You are. Why did you close the Twin Metals mine in this country earlier this year? 225,000 acres in Minnesota, which mines critical minerals like copper, nickel, cobalt.
Again, the entire point of this conversation is to do mining in a responsible way that also reconciles with...
In a responsible way? First of all, answer my question. Why did you close the Twin Metals mine?
Because of the threat to the boundary waters, which is one of the largest economic drivers in Minnesota.
So you think that we shouldn't have critical supply chains in the United States, jobs, good-paying jobs with labor protections in the United States?
Not at the expense of one of the richest fisheries in the United States and the world, such as in Alaska and the Pebble Mine. Not at the
Twin Metals mine isn't in Alaska. It's in Minnesota. It's 225,000 acres in Minnesota.
Correct. And my point is, as we look to accelerate the development of domestic critical mineral mining, we have to do it in a way that does not conflict with and deplete other important aspects of the economy. In northern Minnesota, that includes the recreation economy and the boundary waters, which is one of the main drivers of tourism.
So you're going to prioritize recreation over good-paying jobs here in this country for mining? You're going to withdraw this mine that has been online and now shutter it?
The number of jobs generated by the boundary waters and tourism dramatically outpaces the potential of that mine.
I thought it was critical that we had supply chains in this country, and yet you're shutting down critical mineral production in this country. Do you know instead what that's making us reliant on? Do you know what China's labor practices are? For instance, at their cobalt mine in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Have you seen the reporting on this?
you'll get no argument for me that domestic sourcing.
They use child labor is the answer to my question. Child labor in harrowing
labor
conditions.
and also religious
China
minorities.
uses Uyghur labor,
Yeah.
slave
Yes, they
labor.
do. Yes, they do.
And yet, you are making us dependent on imports from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, controlled by China, from Chinese-controlled and owned mines all across the world. You're shutting down our mines here in the United States.
Well, we disagree about all of that.
Would you support, well, facts are facts, and sometimes they're tough. But what's going to be really tough is when we don't have any auto jobs left in this country because you've shipped them all overseas. When we can't mine anything in this country because you're shutting it all down. And we all know why. It's in pursuit of your radical environmentalist agenda.
Did you know the Twin Metals mine in Minnesota, a potential gold mine for critical materials, was shut down earlier this year? According to the appointee, it's all about protecting natural resources. But Hawley wasn't buying it, saying, "Why prioritize recreation over jobs?" And then came the bombshell. Hawley highlighted how much of the EV supply chain is tied to China. Here's the breakdown. 54% of EVs, 73% of cobalt refining, and over 90% of battery components, all controlled by China. Worse, much of this involves child and slave labor. That's right. While America shuts down its own resources, we're becoming dependent on unethical practices abroad. Hawley pressed the appointee hard, asking why we aren't banning imports tied to child labor. The response? A lot of dodging and vague commitments. While the administration claims to support domestic supply chains, its actions tell a different story. Critical mining operations are being shut down, and American workers are being left behind. Meanwhile, the reliance on overseas materials continues to grow, making us dependent on countries with questionable practices. Senator Hawley made it clear this isn't just bad policy, it's a national security risk, and it's American families who are paying the price. Thanks for watching.